shiny, glossy, precise, and spin-friendly, this is the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Yonex VCORE 95 8th Gen. The most control and precise option within the VCORE family, this update to the VCORE 95 carries on with the 2G NAM Flex Force graphite to deliver an optimal level of flex, while Yonex has incorporated the servo filter to help absorb unwanted vibrations. The isometric head shape makes this 95 head size more forgiving, while the 1620 string pattern makes for an easy launch angle while still offering control and precision. The strung weight comes in at 11.5 ounces with the swing weight in the low 320s, while having a stiffness rating in the low 60s and a 22mm straight beam construction. Just looking at this new update, this nice, shiny, glossy paint job on this VCORE 95 8th Gen, just really excited that I got to play test it and hit with it quite a bit. I've tried a lot of the previous versions, as well as getting to try a lot of other rackets in this 8th Gen update. First thing I noticed is the precision it gives you compared. I also tested the 98 Plus, and with this one, just much more control. I will say for a 95 square inch head size, it is pretty forgiving with that sort of wide spin window, has a generous sweet spot. So I would say, you know, it plays bigger than a traditional 95, but some other things with this racket, for a 95 head size, it's really maneuverable, really fast, very spin friendly. Even though it's a 1620, the strings are spaced nice and openly, so you get an easy launch angle, but I still felt connected to the ball on my ground strokes, especially up at net. I felt like I had good control and precision. Overall, I really liked how fast this racket was, also how comfortable it was. Anytime my opponents were hitting hard at me, it really absorbed the vibration. It felt nice and plush. It pocketed the ball well. So just like some of the previous ones, the only thing I would change with this racket is I would probably beef it up just a little bit. I think a leather grip in the handle, maybe a little bit of weight at 3 and 9 would just give it a little bit more of that player spec that I prefer. But all in all, just a beautiful frame, great control, and I think you'll really like this one if you like those control and feel type of rackets.
So I really like this racket, especially for certain parts of my game, particularly my serve. I was getting a lot of pop, and of course that 95 square inch head size, 1620 factor plays into the accuracy, which just helped even more so. There were certain times when playing with this frame, I struggled to hit the shot that I intended to hit, especially when you're trying to just roll the ball over and get a little bit more spin. I was sometimes overhitting it, and that's something I did not have in the previous 95. Nor did I have that in the 98 Tour when I tested it a few weeks ago. So that was one thing that kind of bugged me a little bit, but overall I really did like the frame. The spin factor is there, but because it's the 95 and it's got that slightly denser string pattern, it's not as much, which I'm perfectly fine with. I feel like the newer VCOREs, the 2026 models, have become a bit too powerful, a bit too spin-oriented, so I like that the 95 still stays within that realm. Another thing that I wanted to point out, the VCORE 95 was already had a good feel to it, a really good touch to it, but I feel like the crispiness is even more amplified in the newer version of the 95, which again, a big thumbs up from my side. So if you're looking for a frame, if you are already using the 95 or using the 98 Tour and you want something a little bit more maneuverable and you want something a bit more controlled, definitely check out the new version of the VCORE 95.
I was a huge fan of the previous generation of VCORE 95, with it being my racket of choice for about a year. So I was really curious to see what Yonex did for this update. And the big story here is the redesigned geometry, a little bit of a thicker hoop, as well as they removed the arrow fins. So it does, for me, feel like a little bit more of a traditional classic contact during most of my shots. And I feel like for what the overall essence of the VCORE is, this is a very nice update. A small uptick in power for me personally, but I'm still getting that really good, reliable targeting, accuracy, and just overall precise nature from the frame. Extremely whippy still, which I really like on either wing. And a highlight for me proved to be my serve. This is just one of the most fun rackets for me to serve with. Really like serving and volleying with it as well. And overall, just a really impressive update that I think longtime fans of the VCORE 95 are going to love, especially if you're looking for a little bit more power.
I'm going to refer to Yonex's 8th generation of this VCORE 95 as a 310 gram masterpiece, or some playtesters here would refer to it as a scalpel with power. Now, I've enjoyed hitting with all the new rackets from the VCORE line. This one may be my favorite, a tight one to the 98 Plus as well. This one here, you know, I'm used to playing with a lot of 305 gram frames like the Blade, the Strike, some of the T-Fight 305s, and all those are usually paired with a 98 head size. So straight away, I can detect the increase in mass-based power from its 5 gram increase. And then also with that 95 head size and 1620 pattern, it complemented this racket with plenty of precision. The swing weight being in the low 320s gives me that stability. 7 points headlight on the average definitely makes this racket all day playable. The agility was there for me in any part of the court. If I struggled at all, it may have something to do with the 62 RA on it. There isn't tons of put away power, so it did require a little bit of a longer swing, a little more effort to get that ball moving where I want. But in terms of like directional control, my backhand slice, my first serves down the middle of the court were just excellent. So for anyone that's considering bumping up their weight from maybe a 305 gram weight to a little bit more, are definitely gonna wanna give this new 8th gen VCORE 95 a try.
For this review, we tried a bunch of different Yonex poly strings, including Poly Tour Strike, Poly Tour Pro, and for today, we have Yonex Poly Tour Drive strung at 52 pounds. For more information on this racket or anything tennis related, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.